I realized Zane and I were fated mates. But just as I was basking in this love, a little girl hunter with a wolfsbane took aim at me, forcing me to flee. 𝐊𝐬𝐼𝐻𝐼𝐬𝐑𝐞𝐝 disappearance left me frantic. 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐃𝐜51 past mistakes. Your peace is more important than driving yourself crazy trying to understand why something happened the way it did. Let it go. Alessandra I collapse onto the couch and tug at my hair with my hands. I know relationships are hard work. I know it's about communication and compromise and all that other shit. It feels like Zane and I are desperately clinging onto this relationship with everything we have because of our bond, but maybe there was a mistake. My heart hurts when he's upset with me. Goddess, he's still recovering from an injury and I practically shoved him out of the house. I sigh. My back aches from sitting in a chair all day and my eyes feel like they might shut at any second. Despite my slight discomfort, I try to rack my brain for clarity. Zane has a point. I've been holding on to the past for too long. At this point, it's only holding us back. And quite honestly, holding on is draining. A sudden burst of guilt hits me. Zane knew all those things about me because he took the time to care. What the hell do I know about him? I don't know his favorite foods. I don't know his hopes and dreams. As the guilt begins to consume me, my papa's words float around in my head. If there's something bothering you, you can sit there or you can get the hell up and do something about it. So I get the hell up. I find Zane on the rocks I once sat at with 𝐊𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬. That feels like such a long time ago when everything in my life was uncertain. The lake looks beautiful tonight just like it does every night, but doesn't mean I'll ever get sick of it. I trek up the rocks and sit on the one next to Zane's. His eyes meet mine, but he turns his head to look out ahead of him again. Okay, I can do this. I'm sorry, I blurt out. Zane's eyebrows rise with alarm at my sudden words. You're right, I've been holding on to the past, but before I move on from it, we need to discuss everything. And I mean everything. He raises one brow this time. My mate sure is a man of words. So there is no better time than the present. Let's get everything hammered out, I say. I reach into my pocket and pull out my phone. Did you make a list? I give Zane a blank look. Of course I made a list. They are the best way to get things done efficiently. He shakes his head. Okay, first off, tell me what you think I should know about you and Isabel. Wow, starting off strong, huh? I can't help but roll my eyes. Well, when we got together it felt like we were so alone. She had lost her mate and I was still recovering from losing my mom. It worked out, but I don't think we loved each other. It was more like the idea of love that was appealing. He takes a deep breath. We were bad for each other. I don't like thinking about the person I was with her because he was an asshole. I'm sure Isabel would agree. I think she's a much better person now than she was then. His words end up alleviating the small doubts I had about his past with my sister. Why didn't you want a mate? Alessandra. His question stuns me for a second. I just always had plans, you know. I never envisioned myself sharing them with anyone. I did want a mate, eventually, but I never wanted it to happen so soon. My view of mates is pretty unpopular. Werewolves dream of meeting their mates their whole lives. But how is that healthy? I didn't want to base my life success on another person and don't have regrets about my decision. I hear how selfish and ungrateful that sounds now. I mean, some people only get so little time with their mate and I'm complaining about finding mine early. There's nothing wrong with wanting things just for yourself. Alessia? Zane speaks. There's a moment of silence between us. I can hear the wildlife, the cars from the main road, but loudest of all is my heart, which is beating so fast I'm almost concerned. I take a deep breath and just rip off the Band-Aid. Why did you send me to Italy? Crickets. Actual crickets. Zane says nothing. He stares at the water like it's the most interesting thing in the world, and he hasn't lived here his whole life. Alessandra, this is something I never wanted to tell you. Immediately my thoughts go to the worst case scenarios. Did he get some girl pregnant? Do I repulse him? Stop that. I know you're thinking the worst right now. He demands. Well, I'm going to continue thinking bad things unless you tell me why. Alessandra, you've been my obsession forever. My breath hitches in my throat. When we were little, I'd do anything to get your attention. And when Mom died, you were the only person who didn't treat me like this bomb that was seconds away from detonating. He turns his body to face me. You've always been so damn pretty it should be a crime. And you're so good. Do you know how many actual good people there are in the world? Not that many, and of course I get mated to one of the few I know. And you're always busting my balls. I swear I've never seen so much sass directed towards an alpha. I think I'm blushing. So don't go thinking I did it because I wanted you gone. Of course, I wanted you here with me, but I had to make the decision I thought was best. He looks away from me again and tilts his head back. His eyes latch onto the moon before they return to the lake. I wasn't happy when I found out you were my mate. You were the sister of the woman that cheated on me, and I was hell-bent on being a single man. He laughs, but there is no humor in it. It's hard watching the man you admire fall apart because he lost his other half, and I vowed that no woman would do that to me. Then you waltzed into my life, and I couldn't stand being apart from you. Shortly after your birthday, I had a dream. Well, I guess it was more of a vision or a memory because it did not feel like a dream. His newly found detached tone fills me with dread. I was holding you. No, I was holding your corpse. I gasp. There was blood everywhere, and I mean everywhere, Alessandra. It scared the crap out of me, and when I went to Donato and she told me that it could be connected to our past lives like a memory 𝐊𝐲𝐬𝐬 passed on to me. I want to say something to comfort him because he looks broken right now, and it's the most heartbreaking thing I've ever seen. But I can't. I'm too shocked to offer any words of comfort. But then it changed. The first one had risen, but this new one. It was you. I'm sure of it. The look of agony in his eyes matched with the fear I feel pulsating off of him has me reaching over to hug him. I'm not going to die on you. I whisper into his ear. Promise. Promise. He pulls back, his hand still holding me close by the waist. I need you to understand that I can live with the idea of you in Italy, even if it's with someone else. But I can't live with the thought of you dead in my arms. I'd rather be dead than be apart from you, I respond. Don't say such cruel words. His words end in a rasp as his lips capture mine in a slow kiss. I'd never let you die. You know that, right? I don't want you to be scared now that I told you the truth, he says, leaving my lips aching for more. I want to smile at his words because they're unnecessary. Even though there have been times where I've been unsure about us, I've never doubted that Zane would keep me safe. He would never place me in harm's way. I can protect myself. I tell him, "Oh, I know. Okay, now ask me a question. I hope for an easy one, but of course, when has anything with this man been easy? Tell me about the guys." I can tell it's something that bothers him, but I also know that he has no right to be upset because then he'd be a hypocrite. I mean, there's not much to tell. We did some things and I did try to have sex, but it just never worked out. Why? Don't let your ego grow. It wasn't about you. I just realized that I didn't have a real connection with any of them, and I wanted to remember my first time in a positive way, without any regrets. And did it meet your expectations? Then I don't know. I think you need to consider taking some supplements. He growls, even though it's pretty obvious I'm lying. I let out a giggle before dropping a quick kiss on his lips. Let's go home, mate. Gladly, he says while picking me up like a bride on our wedding day. As he races us home, I can't help but think that I wouldn't mind staring at his face forever. 𝐶HPT are 50 to angry ally perfection is unattainable. It's stained by the suffering required to chase it. Emery Winthrop devious lies 𝐊𝐢𝐬𝐬. Zane, go help Hero set up the tables. Alessandra shouts at me. She stomps away to go yell at someone else for whatever they must be doing wrong, and Hero shoots me a look conveying that my mate has gone crazy. Ricardo, have you always been an idiot? I told you to hang the lights on the gazebo, not the tree. Who you calling an idiot? You might be Luna, but I'm still your older brother, Rig says. Wrong thing to say. My man. Alessandra's face turns an angry shade of red I've never seen before. That's my cue. Honor, let's go inside and look at what your mom is cooking up. You're right. I have to check if she's using the right recipes, she says, before turning around and speed walking towards our house. How about we just taste test? I ask as I approach her in the kitchen. Fine. Her hand grasps a wooden spoon that she uses to scoop up a small dollop of marinara sauce. She blows some air onto it before bringing it to her lips. She must only taste it for a second before her face contorts into a grossed out grimace. This is terrible. What did you put in this sma? I resist the urge to slap my palm against my forehead. There are a lot of things you do not say to an Italian woman. Insulting her cooking is definitely at the top of the list. Excuse me. My sauce is perfect. Valentina shouts. Eyebrow quirks and her hands go to her hips as she dares her daughter to say anything negative regarding her cooking. Handling one angry Romano woman is a challenge in itself. But two, that's impossible. Really. It tastes like dirt to me. Alessandra remarks. Alessandra, come on. That's not nice, I tell her. Her eyebrows furrow. Goddess, please just get me through the day. Try it, then, she says, bringing the spoon to my lips. I want to argue because there is no way this will end well for me, no matter what I say. Gingerly, I taste the sauce, and I'm not exaggerating when I say it's heavenly. I open my mouth to voice my opinion, but Alessandra's eyes stop me. They have that I dare you to argue with me look that always scares me, but Valentina Romana also scares me. It's good, I croak out. It seems like the answer that will get me in the least trouble with Alessia. Of course you would say that. You're never on my side. Alessandra snides. Before stomping away, I tilt my head back and pray that the rest of the day goes by in supersonic speed. She does this when she's stressed. Don't worry, she's not actually mad at you, Valentina says, quickly coming to her daughter's defense even if she's angry with her. I know, but it seems like nothing I've done today has been right in her eyes. Oh, my poor Zane. It's okay. It's a Romano trait. I'm sure you can ask my husband for some pointers on how to deal with it, she says before patting my cheek and walking away. Ricardo waltzes into the kitchen just as I'm about to leave. His eyes light up at the counter full of dishes ranging from Italian, Mexican, Afghan, Indian, and Chinese food. He goes to grab some naan and I decide to stop him. You can't have any food until the rest of the pack arrives. I tell him, seriously, where is all the nepotism? I am the brother of the alpha female and I'm not even given eating privileges. She's the one who insisted on it. I'm just the messenger. Are you going to get our name tatted on your balls next? He laughs like it's the funniest joke he's ever heard. At least she sees my balls on the reg. When's the last time a girl looked at yours? His eyes get angry real quick. Sometimes I forget that one of my best friends is also related to my mate, so he does not want to hear about that shit. Talk about my sister and balls in the same sentence and I will cut your throat. DeLuca, he says, before grabbing a piece of naan and ripping off a portion with his teeth like an animal. I'd like to see him try. He stomps off in a similar fashion as his sister. That family has it out for me. Mentally, I count to 10 and head off in the direction that Alessandra went. As the days pass, her scent gets more and more remarkably easy to track down. The sweet smell of vanilla leads me to the gazebo on the outskirts of our property. It's old, but with some lights and flowers, it looks as good as new. Unfortunately for me, the sweet smell of Alessandra is mixed with another disgusting smell. Eucalyptus. Okay, eucalyptus smells fine, but Jaden, I can't remember his last name, ruins it. I watch as his neck falls back and he lets out a belly-deep laugh. Alessandra chuckles and I have the urge to go over there and snap his neck so he can never make her laugh again. Killing a member of your pack is illegal. Killing a member of your pack is illegal. I will always hate the fact that he's been a part of her life longer than I have. That at some point in their lives they shared feelings for one another and that they will always be friends. It's selfish, but I want her to myself and myself alone. However, that's not fair to her, so I paste on a tight-lipped smile and walk over to them. Amor, is everything all right? Alessandra looks up at me and a quick array of expressions cross her face. 1 second, she says to Jaden. Her hand clamps around my wrist and she ushers me over to the stream that's beyond the hill our house is on. What are you doing? I was checking up on you, I say with confusion. Why does your face look like that? I blink. I've got to say I've never had a woman say that to me before and it's really killing my ego, I reply. She rolls her eyes. That's not what I mean. You had a creepy smile on your face, she whispers, even though the stream should block out our conversation to Jaden. That's my I'm trying not to rip off your head smile, I tell her with a smirk. You're too much. Well, you're stuck with me for the rest of our lives, I smile. A grin stretches across her face. A real one, not the small one she had with Jaden. I feel myself reciprocating. How has she slowly turned my dark life into one with smiles, laughs, and family? All the things I rarely experienced in my 22 years of living, and she's given them all to me in a span of months. Family. The word had me looking down at her stomach, wondering what it would look like if her belly stretched to accommodate my baby in her womb. Werewolves only get pregnant during heat and Alessandra has only had one so far. How many kids should we have? My question catches her off guard. Where did that come from? I shrug. I would like 3 for kids. That way they can all play together and never have to be lonely. But no kids yet. We're too young. I pull her to my side. We are too young. I'm not sure I want to share you with a bunch of little brats yet, I say. Did you just call our future kids brats? If they inherit your attitude, I'm not sure there's a better word to describe them. She laughs and playfully slaps at my chest. My attitude? I'm unsure our kids are going to come out with a permanent scowl because of you. You're gonna regret that, little wolf, I say. My arms reach out and I tackle her to the ground, making sure to hold back all my weight so I don't crush her. Zane. Oh my goddess, it's muddy. Alessandra yells. Aw shit. My bad, I didn't mean to get you dirty. I tell her. It's okay. Her words are cut off when I smear mud across her face. The dirt clings to her cheek and neck as her face takes on a shocked expression. You asshole. Alessandra grabs a handful of mud and plops it on top of my head because it's the only place she can reach while she's pinned beneath me. I smirk and bring my head down so my now mud-covered hair is directly in front of her face now. I rub my hair against her face and down to her neck as she goes from screeching to giggling. Goddess, you are terrible, she says, her voice out of breath. I smile at her before rolling over to lay next to her. My arm reaches out and brings her closer to me so that we are spooning. Lay with me for a bit. I can't, there's so much to do and it has to be perfect. I haven't even... Alessandra, give yourself a moment to relax, okay? Then you can go back to planning. She nods before dozing off on my chest. 𝐶HPTR53𝐿. I will love you until the day I die. And then I'll love you from hell. Angelino Bell and I forgivable sins, dear as Anna. I've turned into a monster. I hope you do not harbor any hate for me. I'm unable to stand the thought. What can a man do when his light has been stolen? A better man would fight, but it's much easier to give into the darkness. At least this way I don't have to be present to live this life where I cannot see you. Do you ever wonder what our child would have been like? I know they'd have your smile. It's too perfect to not be passed down. Such thoughts plague me day in and day out. So do you see, my love, why I cannot fight the dark? It seems as if the blood that drips from my hands after I've dragged a corpse to Celine's temple is the only thing keeping me sane, because if all goes well, it will bring me one step closer to you. Your mate. Lorenzo Alessandra Romano. My mouth waters as a rush of nausea goes through me. It's been 2 hours since I woke up on Zane's chest caked in mud and smelling like a pig. I cannot believe I let all that time go when I should have been planning and making sure everything was in order for the party tonight. Actually, party might not be the right word. Today is the day that my pack is going to run with me and Zane is their alphas. It's important for this to go perfectly, and just the mere thought of walking downstairs to greet everyone makes me want to throw up. I close my eyes and lean against the dresser. I focus on the cool wind at my fingertips and the brisk breeze coming into the room because of the balcony door. My eyes open and I stare at myself in the mirror above the dresser. I opted to keep my hair back in a low bun with some loose tendrils of hair framing my face. The burgundy sundersign wearing matches my earrings. A knock sounds on the door, followed by a deep baritone voice. Alessandra? Come in, I respond. Zane steps through the door dressed in a black button-down and black pants. His fingers are adorned with his usual rings and a thin chain with the Pax crest lies on his neck. His eyes give me a slow perusal before shining with lust. You look beautiful, Amor, he says, walking closer to me. Thank you, I whisper, still trying not to puke. The scent of pine nearly drowns me when Zane wraps my body in a hug. Simply inhaling his scent helps calm me down. I clutch on his body and try to take deep breaths. I don't know why I'm so nervous, I tell Zane, my voice slightly more clear than before. It's normal to be nervous. I assure you everything looks great for the party and everyone is so excited to spend an evening with their alphas, he says in a soft tone. I nod, unable to form any words at the moment. Zane's hand grasps mine, the rings on his fingers cold against my sweaty palms. Gently, he brings up my hand and lays a kiss on each knuckle. If it gets to be too much, we can come upstairs. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, he says. I smile at my mate. Sometimes all it takes is having someone to lean on to make everything seem just a little bit easier. With my hand still in his, we walk out of our bedroom, which takes us directly to the landing of the stairs. The faces of our pack come into view and I'm instantly overwhelmed. I've known these people all my life, but it's one thing to be them, another thing to be responsible for all of their safeties and concerns. I never imagined I'd be leading this many people at the age of 20, but despite the surge of emotions, I still feel like there's no other place I'd rather be. I belong here with Zane and all these people I care for so deeply. Applause sound as Zane and I make our way down the stairs. A chorus of cheers erupt and a bright smile stretches across my face, and I even see Zane's lips tilt a little. For the very first time, I announce to you all, Zane and Alessandra 𝐷𝐿𝐿𝐸, the leaders of our pack. Katarina yells. More cheers go around and I wait for the chatter to die down before beginning my short speech. It's an honor to join Zane, my mate, in leading this pack. We both have big dreams for the future of Blood Moon, and I hope one day all of them become a reality, I say. I've been blessed with an intelligent woman as my mate, and I couldn't imagine anyone better suited to lead Blood Moon. Our pack has been missing a Luna for a long time now, and I know my mother would have been delighted to have Alessandra not only as Luna but also as the daughter she never got to have, Zane says. My heart aches as I think of Luna Lucille, and judging by the pack's faces, they feel the same. So to commemorate this day, I'd like to give my mate something my mom would have liked her to have, Zane says, as his hand reaches into his pocket. A royal blue velvet box rests in his hands and I know what's inside. I saw it on Lucille's finger countless times. He opens the box and the most beautiful ring I've ever seen rests within. The stone is surrounded by small little diamonds all encased in a platinum band. The stone itself is 𝐿𝐢𝐼𝐻, a stone own that, to our knowledge, only the first Lycans know the origins of. There are only 3 with known whereabouts, and it's assumed the rest are somewhere in the supernatural realm. One belongs to the Blood Moon pack, acquired by Clarice 𝐷𝐿𝐸 in her early years as the alpha, while the other to sit in the crowns of the king and queen. Not that anyone has seen the monarchy in the last 100 years. The stone is a bright violet that cannot be compared to anything because of how unique it is. My mouth is still open in shock as Zane slides the ring onto my finger and brings my hand up for a kiss. Zane, this is too much, I whisper. It's yours, and one day it will be our kids to give to their mate as well, Zane replies. I nearly burst out into happy tears because this is something I never expected from him. It's rare for a 𝐷𝐿𝐸 to actually give the ring to their mate because of how powerful it is and the advantage it gives the pack. The last alpha to do so before Giovanni was Clarice 𝐷𝐿𝐸. You are my strength, Thonlor, which makes you this pack's strength as well. Do not doubt my faith in you, Zane whispers, his hands holding mine. I reach up and plant a swift kiss on his lips. Thank you. Always, little wolf. Now let's get the celebration started, Zane shouts. Everyone shouts and cheers, and for a brief second I'm concerned about what the state of our house will be after this, but I quickly brush it aside and join in. I was wrong before. Party is the right word. CHPT are 50 for poison me. And every time you do that, Every time you fill my lungs with sweet life, I want to destroy anything and everything that hurts you. A gorgeous villain, 𝐊𝐢𝐬𝐬. I do not know how to live a life without you in it. I fear that my soul has been damaged beyond repair. Isn't it funny? They say time heals all wounds. It does not. Love does. Love heals all. Our love healed me. What was once my antidote has become my poison. I've tried Rosanna. But I cannot do this anymore. Life has lost its color without you. What's the point of breathing when every breath feels like a chore? I know this is not what you wanted. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Forever yours. Lorenzo Zane 𝐊𝐢𝐬𝐬. To say the party is a success would be an understatement. Every single member of the pack is smiling, laughing, or catching up. The pups are outside wreaking havoc on the bouncy house Alessandra ordered specifically for this occasion. Our maid is perfect. I know. I quietly observe the room, taking note of who is slowly on their way to sloppy drunk, which is very hard to achieve as a werewolf and who is notably absent from the gathering. Alessandra is surrounded by Amber and Tyra as they tell them stories about their own mates. Before I can eavesdrop on any more of their conversation, 𝐿𝐲𝐵 manifests in front of me. Zane, she states. Alpha, I retort. Sorry, Alpha. I thought we would be past all the formalities now since we are family and all. She smirks. Let's not kid ourselves. 𝐿𝐲𝐵. Annoyance speaks through my tone when I realize I've lost sight of Alessandra. Is there something you want, or are you hellbent on annoying me? She scoffs. I really don't understand what my kind sister sees in a prick like you, but I thought I'd warn you. She says casually while staring at her manicure. Spit it out. 𝐿𝐲𝐵. If you say so. I thought you might want to know that Jaden has had too much to drink and he's running his mouth at his buddies. She says. About what? She rolls her eyes before answering me. Obviously, I'm referring to Alessandra and Jaden's relationship. Did you forget they were in love for a solid year? They were not in love? I snarl. If you say so. She smiles before seeing away. Swiftly, I cut through the crowd looking for a head of curly hair that he puts way too much gel in and smelling for Jaden's scent. I'm stopped multiple times by people wanting to offer their congratulations. I try my best to give them a solid smile or response before continuing my search. Scents are harder to trace down when so many people are present. Unfortunately, I never make it to Jaden because Alessandra intercepts my path. There you are. We have to head into the backyard for the pack run, she says, a wide grin taking over her face. I know how important it is for her to have all of this go seamlessly, so I take her hand in mine and walk out of the house. Jaden will be dealt with later. Alessandra and I stand on a tree stump with an array of faces staring up at us. It's moments like these that I wonder how my father held the responsibility of so many people on his own. Simply having Alessandra at my side is enough to relax my nerves. I know what some of them think when they stare at me. A boy, too young to lead, or a man made jagged by his past to the point of disassociation. Either way, I'm incapable in their eyes. I stopped being a boy when my mother was slaughtered and I had to bury pieces of her corpse. I've learned it from my past and I feel more with Alessandra than I ever have before. I plan to rectify their views of me and it all begins now. I step down from the stump and offer Alessandra my hand. My large hand encompasses her dainty one. Transformati. Alessandra and I call out. Members of our pack shed their clothes and soon I see a splay of gold eyes and dark snouts. Alessandra and I are the last to transform. She goes first and I watch, transfixed, as she goes from woman to wolf. Alessandra's coat is a beautiful gray color, whereas mine is midnight black. The moon to my night. Once I've shifted, I raise my snout in the air and howl. Alessandra does the same, and soon the whole pack can be heard throughout 𝐿𝐷𝐿𝐻. We take off towards Blood Peak, a secluded cliff with no humans. I own a small piece of land and it's always guarded by one of the younger members. It serves as a place for the pack to go without worrying about running into a human. Along with the Blood Peak is Rosa Falls and Wolf's Trail. Wolf's Trail is a long path panning from the boundary at pack grounds to Blood Peak. Hearing the patter of my pack members running alongside me while bathing the moonlight next to my mate is enough to keep me content. I'd rather die than let anyone take this away from me. A musky scent permeates the air as we return to my backyard. There is a twinge of sweat, but the aroma of lust is overwhelming. After a shift, especially a long one, werewolf brains were still foggy. Our animals still controlled a part of us. Their needs entwined with ours in a way that was undeniable. Slowly, a trickle of couples break off from the group for some alone time. The others continue to linger in the backyard while some head inside. I scan the crowd for a head of long dark hair, but none seem to be my mate. My feet carry me inside, the crowd parting as I go, and I smell the scent that intoxicates me in a way that no drug ever will. Mate. Her slender neck is on full display with her elegant hair. Doing the temptation to sink my canines into the mark I left on her skin is too strong to ignore. She disappears from my field of vision. I'm quick to track her steps. I pull her against me before she can continue any further and drag us both into a closet. Zane. I cover her mouth with my lips. It starts off as a slow kiss before it turns into a clash of passion and heat. I dig my hands into her hair and pull it out of its bun. My lips pull away from hers. With her hair in a curly mess and her lips swollen from my attack, she resembles a lioness. Powerful, beautiful, radiant. You drive me crazy, Alessandra. Fucking crazy. I whisper against her mouth. I don't know how I used to live without her. She lets out a gasp as I suck the skin on her neck. This dress. Goddess, this fucking dress. I say as I bunch the burgundy fabric together at her hips. It's so easy to just flip it over and fuck your pussy on more. I say while my index finger traces the path from her clit to her opening. Zane. She whimpers, pressing against my hand for relief. I remove my hand and she growls in response. Patience. Honor. Patience. I whisper and drag my face down her neck to her cleavage. Using my tongue, I trace a path from the valley between her breasts, up to the small amount of protruding skin peeking out from the dress. Then I lower my lips and trap her nipple between my lips through the thin fabric. She cries out when I leave a gentle bite on the sensitive bud. Continuing down her body, I end up on my knees. Hold up the dress, I tell her. She bunches up the fabric and her black underwear is on display for me. The cotton from her panties molds against her lips from the wetness. She goes to pull the dress off, but I stop her. Keep the dress on. I'm gonna fuck you in it. Slowly, I drag her panties down her toned legs. Once they have slipped off, I pocket them. You're gonna have to be quiet, Alessandra, unless you want everyone to hear what you sound like when I make you come. She nods eagerly. I grab her ass to pull her pussy flush against my mouth. Her leg hooks around my neck and I know her hands will be pulling at my hair any second now. Lightly, my tongue presses against her opening before gently dragging up to her clit. She gasps as I begin to swirl my tongue in circles, keeping the same pace. As her pleasure begins to increase, she lets go of her dress and it angles me. If someone were to walk in right now, all they would see is my head under Alessandra's dress. She grasps my hair as her orgasm begins to build. Using her hips, she pushes her pussy against my face, desperate for release. I push the fingers inside her just as I feel her leg tighten around my neck. I curl them together and brush against her G-spot. She detonates like a bomb, but I continue to lick her clit till she comes down from her high. I come out from under her dress to see her braced against the wall. She nearly falls, but I catch her in time. Were you trying to kill me? Swear I saw the goddess when you were down there with your tongue. She rasps out, breathless. You look pretty happy for someone who was near death. She smiles. Death by orgasm doesn't sound so bad, she says. I laugh before capturing her mouth in a kiss. She returns it while her hand begins to stroke my cock through my pants. Turn around. She follows my command, jutting her ass out towards me and keeping her palms against the wall. I unzip my pants and pull up my hard cock. Gently, I drag the tip through her pussy lips and watch as her wetness coats the head. I continue the torture for both of us, waiting for her to break, to hear her beg. She holds on and tries to move her hips against me, but I keep a firm grip on them, controlling them. Zane, she moans. Let me hear your words. Baby, it hurts, she whispers. What hurts? More. My body. It aches. It needs my control snaps and I push into her with one thrust. Alessandra cries out in relief. She tries to fuck me back, but I don't let her. I give her slow thrusts, controlling her movement with my hands on her hips. This is what you wanted, huh? For me to feed you my cock, yes. Look at you, taking it like a good girl. I pull the neckline of her dress down. The material is stretchy enough that the straps stay on her shoulders, but her breasts are exposed. I take both her hands in my right hand so hard it's pushed against the cool and her ass presses against me more. The angle lets me give it to her deeper. She cries out with each thrust as her nipples brush against the wall and my cock hits her deep. Just as I feel her orgasm approaching, I stop, my cock still buried inside her. Zane, please, she says, sounding like she's about to cry from frustration. She wiggles against me, trying to create some movement, but she can't do much in this position. Slowly I pull out until just the tip of my cock is enjoying the heat of her tight pussy. Just as I hear her about to voice a complaint, I slam inside her, giving it to her the way she wants it. Instead of pulling her against my cock like I was before, I begin to push into her at a brutal pace. She screams out, but I muffle it with my free hand. That's how you like it, huh? Deep inside your pussy till it feels like you're going to break. I continue to pump into her. The closet seems to amplify the smack of her pussy meeting my cock. Such a good little slut for me, I whisper. Her moans continue to be muted by my hand. The smell of sex, vanilla, and pine fills the air, but then my nose catches something else, or rather someone else. The unmistakable smell of 𝐾𝐤𝐬 tickles my nostrils and I almost snarl in anger. I look down to see a silhouette outside the door. I can hear his breathing begin to pick up from lust created by hearing me fuck my mate. I feel Alessandra begin to tighten around me, the sign she's about to come. I remove my hand from her mouth and can continue to thrust inside her. Zane, Zane, Zane. She squeezes around my cock so tightly I see stars. Her body propels upwards, balancing on her toes as she screams. I follow soon after with my own release. We are panting mess and I have to hold Alessandra upright as her legs tremble. I bring her back up so that she is pressed against my chest. Moving her soft hair to the side, I press a soft kiss to the back of her neck, inhaling her glorious scent as I do. My eyes travel downwards to the crack of the closet door to see that Jaden's silhouette has disappeared along with his repulsing scent. Mine. 𝐶HPER55 Sandin Ski, ball being unapologetically yourself makes you invincible. The monster Alessandra Romano, is there a reason all of you are here? What? No, we are just here to spend time with you. Lilia says, yeah? I feel like Zane is always hogging you. Like, what about us? Hero adds. Kali and Lilia look at Hero with wide eyes. He responds with a "what did I do wrong" gesture. Oh, I say with an awkward laugh. I was laying on the hammock outside when these three pulled up beach chairs and surrounded me. In all honesty, I was hoping to catch some extra hours of sleep. Zane had the same nightmare last night and we both ended up waking much earlier than we are used to. The good thing is that we have figured out he only gets these nightmares on full moons, so we know to be prepared now. Hero looks down at his phone then back up at me. Alessandra. We have to go to the front of the house right now, he says before grabbing my hand and dragging me out of the hammock. Why my feet drag against the dirt as I'm practically dragged to my front yard. Your car is on fire. What? Oh my God. As we round the house, the vision in front of me halts my words. Zane's gray Jeep Wrangler is loaded up with coolers, surfboards, and luggage. His biceps flex through his dark blue shirt as he loads up the stuff into the back of his car. Something is on fire, but it's not the car. Are we going somewhere? He turns around and looks at me sheepishly. I thought it was about time I took you out on a date, he says with a grin. I let out a laugh before launching myself at him. He catches me and swings me around with his arms around my waist. Where are we going? I ask, looking up at him. I guess you'll just have to be patient. Little wolf, he replies before dropping a quick kiss on the tip of my nose. I resist the urge to pout at the mention of waiting but control myself. Don't knock my sister up. Ricardo shouts, his hands holding a box of stuff labeled Alessandra. Don't worry, Rick. We're just going to practice. Zane responds with his usual smirk. Ricardo looks about ready to charge over here, so I'll latch onto Zane's bicep and pull him to the Jeep. Can you tell me where we are going now? I ask, once we've settled in. Zane puts the car into the ignition. Patience, little wolf. Patience. There are moments when I think that life cannot get any better. Sitting in my mate's Jeep with the crisp wind of the California coast blowing through my hair is one of those moments. Zane's hand is wrapped around my left thigh as we cruise down Route 1. We've already stopped in Big Sur to take pictures and grab some food. I'd sent the pictures Zane took of me to my family and friends and set one of us as our wallpaper. When I was scrolling through his photo album, I came across what must have been hundreds of pictures of me. In some of them I'm sleeping, others are candid, but most of them are from the random times he told me to smile and pose. I never realized how many he had really taken of me before, and I felt kind of sad about it. What's wrong? I just realized I don't have enough pictures of you. Sweetheart, you're stuck with me for life. I'll doubt you'll need any pictures when you've got the real thing right here. I almost roll my eyes but decide to rectify the situation instead. Grabbing my phone, I take a quick picture of him. It's simple with a scenic view behind him as he drives down the coast. His sunglasses are the black ones I see most men wear, but no one wears them quite like he does. A tight shirt spans across his chest, and at this angle, his jawline looks even more magnificent than usual. His nose crunches as he sniffs the air. Really? Alessandra? Right now? Sorry. Okay. I can't control it. I'm not even doing anything right now. Driving is sexy. Ask any woman and she'll agree with me. I'll be sure to keep you away from chauffeurs and Uber drivers then. The downside to being part wolf is that your fellow pack mates can smell your arousal. Can't I just be horny without judgment? Zane. Oh, no you don't. I know what that tone means. Oh, come on. We are on a strict schedule right now. I have to drive nonstop for us to get there in time. I never thought I would be denied sex by my own mate, but here I am. Oh, cheer up. More. I promise that after this trip you'll feel me for days. A smile creeps up my face as I think of having some alone time with Zane. It's been stressful with planning the pack run and making sure there have been no Nightsides sightings nearby. Oftentimes, I begin to wonder how 𝐊𝐢𝐬𝐑𝐞𝐽 did this by himself for so many years. I can't imagine not having Zane's support through the long pack meetings and just the company of my mate after I've had a long day. A yawn escapes my mouth as the sleepless night begins to catch up to me. Sleep, how? I know you barely got any sleep after my nightmare, Zane says, regret apparent in his voice. I place my hand on top of his and doze off. I wake up on a comfy couch with the view of the Pacific Ocean in front of me. The glass doors open up to a big deck stocked with a grill and a hot tub. Bang. Zane. My voice comes out raspy. I must have slept the whole way here. Oh fuck. I stumble off the couch at the sound of Zane's voice and find him at the entrance of the beach house. A splay of ice cubes covers the floor, and the red cooler is knocked over on the floor. Zane is also on the floor staring at the ceiling. A little giggle escapes me at the sight of an alpha who was defeated by ice cubes. Oh, Zane. Are you okay? Are you hurt? Zane says in a voice that's supposed to sound like mine. It doesn't. Well, Alessandra, I accidentally dropped this cooler and all the ice fell out and I slipped. I'm okay, though. Thanks for asking. Sarcasm is unbecoming, I reply. You're unbecoming. A couple of the drinks from the cooler had spilled out onto the floor. Beer, water bottles, and is that? You know I can't survive without Shirley Temples, right? Oh, I've seen it, and it's not pretty. I roll my eyes and give him a hand. This place is amazing. Thank you. We've got the whole beach to ourselves. Only residents of the beach houses can use this area. Where are we anyway? A villa beach. It's perfect. Go get dressed. We've got places to see. After a short drive, we arrive at the pier. Since we're here on a Tuesday, there's no rush, which I'm grateful for. Humans get really stinky at the beach. The sunscreen mixed with sweat and beer is not a good combo. With my hand in his, Zane leads us down the beach. The sand is wet and the occasional wave brushes by our feet. The bottom on my white sundress is already dripping water, but I don't care. The temperature is perfect. The sunset is beautiful. And Zane and I have talked about the littlest things and the biggest things. My heart feels full whenever I think of how far we've come. There was a time when opening up to one another seemed impossible, but now I'm sure he knows me better than I know myself. When do you want kids? I ask. Later. I want more alone time with you. And I still think we are really young to be mated, but definitely too young to have kids. Me too. I think we should wait a bit more. You know, that means no sex during your heat. No, that means no unprotected sex during my heat. Condoms were not as effective with werewolves, but oracles or healers could make some concoctions to lessen the chance of pregnancy during heats. They always made it every full moon since that's when oracles were the strongest, and then they saved it for whatever poor woman went through her heat that month. How many kids do you want? I ask. I'm not sure. Definitely more than one. I always wished I had siblings growing up since it got so boring. I always wished I didn't have siblings growing up, but now I'm glad I had them. Dealing with my mom's antics by myself. No thanks. Eventually, we make it back to the pier. The sun has disappeared, and the moon has taken its place. The pier is illuminated by the lights of restaurants, stores, and arcades. Let's go to the arcade, I shout, before dragging Zane to the colorful and lit-up building. I slide to $10 bills into the red machine marked tokens. The cool fake gold meets my hand as I place the tokens into Zane's pockets. I'm going to whoop your ass in skee-ball, I shout, running over to the blue machine with flashing pink lights. Oh, you're on. After dropping 5 tokens into the machine, a group of white balls slide down the clear cylinder. I shoot one up the ramp and watch as it lands in the 1 slot. Zane goes to do the same and even blows on his ball before releasing it. It skates up the ramp and lands in the 10. Damn it. When the timer goes off, I have 660 points while Zane has 50. Since I'm clearly carrying this team, we will be buying that huge teddy bear with our tickets, I say, before heading in the direction of the Pac-Man machine. So far, I've earned a pretty large number of tickets. Eventually, Zane got sick of it and decided to just cheer me on and hold the tokens instead of facing the humiliation of defeat. I only have 10 tokens left and I know exactly where I'm spending them. The claw machine. I have never successfully earned anything from that thing. It's the bane of my existence and I'm determined to keep my winning streak going. Zane, if I don't get anything from this, I need you to shoot me. You've got off the deep end, woman. After the token has been inserted, I have a minute to grab one of the prizes. Do I need a stupid octopus plushie? No, of course not. I'm a grown woman. Do I meet the achievement it symbolizes? Of course. The joystick is slick with the sweat from my palm as I maneuver it just over the plushie. The cute black eyes of the octopus stare back at me, and I know I've got this in the bag. With a push of a button, the claw lowers. It grasps onto the purple head of the octopus and my mouth drops open as it floats into the air, making its way to the exit. I can almost feel the soft plushie in my hand when everything falls apart. The motherfucker falls. For a second, I can feel Zane going out to reach towards me, but I lose it. Are you fucking kidding me? Kick. This game is rigged. You saw that, didn't you? It was right there. I yell at Zane, who looks like he wants to pretend he doesn't know me. Stupid. Kick. Fucking. Kick. Machine. Kick. Alessandra. There are children here, you know? Because this is an arcade. I glare at Zane in response. He lets out a sigh and grabs a token from his pocket. Watch and learn. He steps up the machine and grabs the joystick. The outline of his back muscles appears as he rolls out his shoulders and begins. 2 seconds. In 2 seconds, the purple octopus plushie is in my hands. No need to thank me. Elnor, I can see it all over your face. He smirks. Let's get my teddy bear and go. I grumble, walking over to the counter. Zane laughs behind me. 𝐶HPTR56, let's go to the beach heaven. It'd be heaven, getting you for 1 minute while on my way to hell. Trent Mawson give me a reason's 𝐊𝐢𝐬𝐬. Waking up to the sight of Alessandra shed against a pillow with her hair in disarray is a sight I will never get tired of. Every morning she has a new sleepy face. Sometimes it's a little open with a trickle of drool leaking out, and other times she has a cute duck face that she denies having no matter how many pictures I show to her as proof. As the sunlight trickles in, I'm grateful for a night of no nightmares. It's hard to smile and laugh with Alessandra in the morning when images of her corpse stop me at night. Oftentimes, I ask myself if this was a good idea. What if it's not actually a vision from the past and rather a manifestation of the future? The mere thought of it seeps terror into my bones. After tucking Alessandra and she always loses the blanket in her sleep, I walk into the kitchen and pack up the cooler I brought. With some fresh ice in the cooler and all the beach essentials in my backpack, I'm ready to spend some quality time with my mate under the sun. Time to wake the beast. Alessandra walks next to me with her toes digging into the sand. Large sunglasses hide her beautiful eyes and her hair is in a low bun at the nape of her neck. The scent of sunscreen wafts off of both of us as we search for the perfect spot on the beach. Can you believe there is no one at the beach? Are they crazy? It's a wonderful day and the waves are gonna be epic. Alessandra asks. I rented the beach houses surrounding us and it is a private beach reserved for guests, so I say with a shrug. That's why you were so okay with me wearing this. This refers to her small bikini that has me salivating. No lie. Sweetheart, I'm not going to tell you what you can and cannot wear. If someone tries something, you can handle it or I can. Whatever you wish. You're so cute sometimes, she responds with a little smile. I prefer the term sexy, but I'll take it. Come on. We have to get in the water before all the good waves are gone, Alessandra says as she grabs my hand and drags me along. We don't have wetsuits on, but cold water is not usually a problem when you're a werewolf. The sun's rays catch Alessandra's hair and eyes in the best way. She paddles into the water with her board and I follow after her. As I'm walking back to shore, a huge burst of salty water hits my face and goes up my nose. I immediately start coughing as a mischievous giggle meets my ears. Not funny? Elnor, I say as a burst of coughs follow. Oh shoot. Are you okay, Zane? Alessandra goes to touch my shoulder as comfort and I quickly swipe my hand through the water, sending it straight to her face. Oh, you are so dead. She jumps on me, taking us both down into the shallow water. We probably look like idiots fighting in the water, but I'm having a great time. Okay? Okay. Truce. Jeez. You are a competitive woman, I offer. That's what losers say. Could you call in a loser? She crosses her arms and stares me dead in the eye. I run at her like I'm going to tackle her, but capture her in a fireman hold. Zane, put me down. My baby. That's what a loser would do. I walk us back to our spot on the beach and lay her down on the large blue beach towel I packed. Water drops cover her body and her curly hair sticks to her skin and bikini. I drop a kiss to her lips, planning on making it a quick one, but her arms wrap around my neck and keep me against her. Our lips move in sync as our hands fly around. Her hands trace my BS while mine caress her thighs. It should be illegal to have this many muscles, she says against my mouth as her hands explore my back. A grin breaks out on my face. All for you, baby. I trail my mouth down to her neck, leaving soft kisses as I go. Slowly, my lips drag down to the white fabric of her bikini, which I tug down to expose her breasts. Her nipples are hard as a rock, begging me to suck them. I swirl my tongue around one before capturing it in my mouth. Her head falls back as she pushes her chest against my mouth. I bring my hands up to cup her breasts as I make my way lower to her pussy. Smooth skin meets my lips as I begin to feast on my favorite meal. Zane, she whimpers as I suck on her clit while squeezing her tits. I go slowly, switching from gentle licks to swirls that drive her mad. Her thighs squeeze my head and her hips jut upward, trying to create more friction and reach the release she so desperately wants. My hands abandon her chest to grasp her hips and hold her in place. The unintelligible sound that escapes her tells me that she is frustrated. It makes me laugh. Patience, little wolf. I know what you need. She's about to grumble again when I start licking her clit and fingering her pussy. Her wetness coats my fingers as I push to in. I go deep, stopping when her pussy reaches my rings, only to pull out and push back in again. Her moans get louder, each one making my dick so hard it's a miracle I don't come in my trunks. I'm just about to give her the most earth-shattering orgasm ever when she stops me. Stop, she gasps out. I stop, retracting my fingers and looking at her with worry. Are you okay? I'm peachy, but I want to come with you inside me. So will you take off your swim trunks and get a meal ready? Always so demanding, I say with a smile before following her instructions. I line myself up to her opening. The head of my cock looks angry, ready to explode, but I want to take it slow and savor this moment where we are Alpha and Luna, or Lorenzo and Rosanna. Just Zane and Alessandra, two people who might get arrested for public indecency. Using my hands, I guide my cock from the bottom of her pussy up to her clit, which makes her moan. I rock back and forth slowly, not pushing into her tight heat but rubbing myself against it. She looks so beautiful. Her face is full of pleasure and a little red from the sun. Her hair is a mess from the ocean water, but she still looks gorgeous. For a second, I just stare at her, taking in my mate who I'm so lucky to have and never plan on letting go of. I lower my head and kiss her. Our lips mash together as our tongues get entangled, and then I push into her, inch by inch. She chokes out as a gasp once I'm buried to the hilt. Before Alessandra, I never knew sex could be so intense. It's not just a chase for pleasure. It's a connection between two people that goes beyond our reality. I pull out before pushing back in, keeping my pace slow. She meets my thrusts with her own, pushing her clit against my pelvis to create the perfect sensation. Zane, she moans out as I give it to her harder, each thrust reaching deep. Fuck, you take me so well. Her moans get louder and louder. Under the burning Southern California sun, I watch her body convulse as she comes harder than I've ever seen her do before. Her pussy clenches my dick so tight. Sure I'll see stars. With one more pump, I'm coming inside her, coating her insides with my semen. We're both panting and sweating as I collapse on top of her. Her arms wrap around me as we catch our breath. I bury my head in her neck, simply enjoying the moment. Her hands rub my back, tracing random patterns. I push up off of her and stay in a plank as I stare at her. What? She giggles as I continue to stare at her like a freak. There's been this feeling in my heart that seems to amplify by the day. It started in her room on our 18th birthday, the day we discovered we were mates. But I think it's always been there since we were little kids who didn't know the horrors life would throw our way. It hurts to be away from her. It hurts to think of life without her. My best moments are with her by my side, whether it be lounging around in bed and talking about anything or traveling down the coast for a date. My dad told me I demanded to take baby Alessandra home when I saw her as a kid. He claimed it was because a part of me always knew that she'd be mine one day, that we were meant to be together. Forever. I love you, I blurred out. I'm so shocked the words left my mouth that my eyes visibly bulge. I've known that I love Alessandra for a while now, but saying it feels like more somehow. Her eyes soften and her hand comes up to cup my cheek. I love you too. Then we kiss some more. 𝐶HPTR57, the beginning of the end. Some old wounds never truly heal and bleed again at the slightest word. George R. Martin. Alessandra Romano, tragedy is sudden. It's the moment where everything goes from fine to disastrous in a matter of seconds. It's the moment that is ingrained in your memory forever and sends a wave of emotions racing through your body whenever you recall it. I haven't experienced tragedy firsthand. I've witnessed others' pain, like Isabel's when her mate died, or Zane's when his mom was murdered, but I've never been in the forefront. Until now. Maybe that's why I don't know how to handle the situation at hand. Words are thrown at me, but my mind cannot process them. There's only one thought. Why me? Why us? Why Captain Ramirez touches my arm and I finally jolt back to reality. Where did you say they are? The Nightshades have breached the western border. Alpha Di Luca and Beta Romano have taken some warriors and begun the fight. Captain Bacardi's teams are working on guarding the remaining borders while Captain Freeman and his teams evacuate the pack through the northern border. Get word to the neighboring packs and have them send over some healers. We'll need them. Yes, Alpha. With that, I'm off. I immediately link my friends and family to ensure they are safe. I know my parents will stay back to fight, but Leela and Kali must be evacuating. I want to link Zane, but he could be fighting, and distracting him would only cause problems. As soon as my feet hit the dirt, I'm shifting into my wolf and racing towards the western border. The wind breezes through my fur as I track Zane's scent. It's loud as teams of warriors work on evacuating the pack, so I solely rely on my eyesight to keep watch for Nightshades. Their scent isn't raceable, and while we worked effortlessly to track down who their master is, we were unsuccessful. No one anticipated a full-blown attack, but it seems like these Nightshades are working with other people as well. I get bursts of unfamiliar scents, and all I can gather is that they are human. As I get closer to the western border, I see less and less of my pack, which is reassuring. The few that remain are warriors who are also running towards the border. Just as I get close enough to hear some commotion, a Nightshade appears in front of me. Its dark body is hard, almost like tree bark, and its eyes are ones I will never forget. They're so dark I can see my wolf's reflection in them, and as its lips curl back to snarl at me, I catch sight of its large yellow fangs that can pierce through the hardest of metals. Its talons dig into the dirt as it approaches me. This Nightshade isn't too big, but I don't let my guard down. Nightshades are more powerful in groups, and guessing by the ear, splitting shrieks fill in the air. There are a lot of them. The Nightshade's shriek reaches my ear as it lunges at me. Its hand swipes through the air in an attempt to slice me open, but I'm faster. Nightshades have deadly fangs and talons, but their coordination does not compete with the swiftness of a wolf. While the Nightshade tries to regain its footing after the failed attack, I take the opportunity to jump up and latch my teeth onto its neck. It tries to shake me off. Vigorously too. But I remain latched on and dig my canines in deeper. Then, I pull, whipping out a large chunk of its weird, hard flesh. I land on my feet just in time to watch the Nightshades' corpse disappear to dust. One of the warriors struggles against a Nightshade, and as I run over to help them, I'm hit from the side by a Nightshade. The blow ricochets off my bones until I can taste the pain in my mouth. The Nightshade doesn't waste time and uses the moment that I'm collapsed over on the ground to its advantage. Its talon, like fingers, go for my chest, but I roll away in time. Instead, it pierces my lower back. I'm thankful for the adrenaline that keeps me from fully feeling the pain, but I am not thankful for the bursts of scents that are assaulting my nose. I'm able to gather that these humans are nearby, but there's no time to investigate. I have to keep myself from becoming this Nightshade's lunch. Nightshades are bipedal creatures, but they are able to crawl on the ground as well. The Nightshade fighting me comes down onto its hands, making it not much taller than I am in wolf form. I'm assuming it wants to attack me with its fangs instead of its talons now, but I cannot let that happen. A Nightshade bite can be fatal. Just as it becomes situated in its new position, I scale the space between its torso and the ground. Its arms are long enough that its body is elevated to the point that I can run under it. I take my chance and speed past its head and run through the bridge its body has created. I know it will take the Nightshade too long to turn around, so the second I'm out from under it, I jump onto its back. My claws dig into its back for traction as I struggle to hold on. I move quickly, using its protruding bones like stepping stones before I make it to the nape of its neck. I know my time is limited, so I go for the kill, lodging my canines into its neck. The Nightshade stands on its feet and brings its hand to its nape in an effort to rip me off, but we both know that this is the end for the Nightshade. It won't be able to heal this injury, guessing by the amount of dark blood filling my mouth. I dislodge myself and jump down to the ground. The dark, sticky blood covers my fur like a sin I cannot wash. The Nightshade lets out one last shriek before dissolving into dust. I run over to a tree for some coverage. Looking around, I can see that most of the Nightshades have been cared of, and the few left are smaller compared to the ones I was fighting. A small rustling meets my ears, and I look up to see a pair of human eyes staring back at me. A small girl, maybe about 11 years old, brings her hand to her back and pulls out a crossbow. I know it has been dipped in wolfsbane because of the tattoo on her hand. It's a swirl-like pattern that belongs to the hunters. I know I won't kill a child, even if they are trying to murder my ass, so I run away. There's no way she'll be able to hit me with her arrow considering my speed and the harsh wind. I slow down to a jog when I notice the lack of people in Nightshades. Then I see her. Donata is running. I'm not sure where, but it seems like she has a destination in mind. Immediately, I'm full of worry due to Donata's age and lack of being a werewolf. Being an oracle is cool and all, but it does not come with any abilities that can aid in a fight. As she disappears through the trees, a hunter races behind her. His hand goes to the knife in his pocket, and the second I see it, I run towards him. He disappears through the trees, most likely following Donata's footprints. I follow after him, but oddly I do not see him or any footprints past the trees. It's like they both disappeared the second they crossed over here. My adrenaline begins to decline and the sharp pain in my back amplifies. Stupid Nightshade. Just as I go to search for their scent, a purple powder hits my face. My vision becomes blurry while my body feels like a 1.0 pound weight. I sway before falling to the floor. I hear Zane calling for me. Then it all goes dark.